Good morning, I'm Michael from Monster Gaming, and if you enjoy the video, please like and subscribe. So today I am looking at Dungeons & Dragons Cardmaster, the adventure design deck. It is quite possibly the laziest tool a DM could ever want to use. It is a series of shuffleable decks that let you draw cards to design your adventures, but it does have the unique property that it does mean it can be used for solo play. Now, I do quite like solo card games. I'm a huge fan of the Lord of the Rings and Marvel Champions game, and where you're basically running against a deck that is throwing cards at you and you have to overcome the obstacles and try and defeat them. I do also really like Betrayal at Hill House as well. I've played it quite a few times. I really like the unique properties at the end where triggering the haunt, and as you go through, you're effectively building up a map of the haunted house by drawing cards off the top of the deck. Now, Cardmaster does all of that, and it done it a lot earlier than they did as well. So if I bust it open now my one's actually quite old, so it is incomplete. It's missing the dice. But first of all, we have a design book, which basically tells you how to use the cards and how to use the rules off of the cards and tips for how to get started. And this is fast play here, so it literally just tells you to shuffle a load of cards together, give characters are assumed to be their most basic class forms, and just literally turn the cards and fight the monsters. It's a slightly dumbed down in places version of second edition. It does have rules in it for solo play, but they obviously felt like this paper book wasn't enough, so it also comes with some ideas for third and fourth and fifth level adventures. But this is the most interesting bit. So it comes with these decks. So that's the monster deck. This is the treasure deck, and this huge stack is the location deck. So with the three decks in front of you, you have a location deck, a treasure deck, and a monster deck. So included in the monster deck as well are 6 cards to use as player characters for the game. They're really dumbed down versions of the second edition skill sets. So I'll put them to one side, and then you would, as Dungeon Master, Lazy Dungeon Master, or as if you're playing solo, you would take the card off the top of the deck and you'd be presented with a room. The colours on there denote how easy they is. So green rooms, let's have a quick look. So a green room is a 3rd level room, a blue room is a 4th level room, and a red room is a 5th level room. And you would lay the rooms out and you would explore them as you go. So you'd kind of lay them down on the table, but not taking too much room, because also you can be mapping as well. And it's not the primary function of it. But as well as drawing these, you can draw them and they will have a monster icon in the corner, which in that case you would draw the top card of the monster deck, and it's an arrow trap, and then you would have to follow the instructions on the card. So in this case it attacks someone and does some damage. If we keep turning, this one is a hobgoblin, and the hobgoblin, if you defeat him, he has a treasure card, so you would then draw a treasure card. Oh no, it's a spear trap, or it's a flask of cures. So if you were to kill the hobgoblin, draw the card. If you then drew a colour that wasn't appropriate, such as red, the Mirror of Memory, you would just put that to the bottom of the deck and you would keep drawing until you find one that's the same colour. So it's a neat idea. I got the impression, and the reason I always say lazy dungeon mastering is I got the impression that the idea would be you would just shuffle the cards together. If you were sitting at home trying to think up a quest, you draw a few and you'd be like, yeah, okay, all right, we can make that work. So you can get some, and you could, depending on how it goes, get some good ideas out of it. I do like the monster cards, quite like the art off of them. A mixture of art from the early 2nd edition Monstrous manuals and the later one that they did. It's the Mimic. It's got some neat ideas. Also included, if I lift this up, so as I said, should have had dice, but I've misplaced the dice over the years. Comes with some rooms, so you can actually, if you've got miniatures or you want to help the players visualize it, you can dress some rooms up with little ornament tokens and the like. I do think it can be useful to help if you want to play D&D solo, but ultimately I do think there are better products out there. If given the choice of running a game on my own against these, I think I would much prefer to play either Marvel Champions or the Lord of the Rings card game, despite the Lord of the Rings card game can become incredibly difficult at the time. I think this is just too basic, but then it is also over 20 years old. And it was a bit of a novel idea at the time. I don't think it ever took off. I imagine they probably would have had more expansion packs for it if it had sold well, which it didn't. But yeah, Cardmaster, the adventure design deck for playing solo, or if you're just a really lazy DM. Thank you very much for looking. Take care.